Hey, hi, hello again. It's me, Amy the Baker, back with another video. And it's just me today, at least for now. Bubs is asleep, but I figured all of this would go a little bit less chaotically and a little bit quicker if I did it alone. And because I'm doing an experiment,
calm is what we needed.
I'm going to attempt to make my chocolate chip cookie recipe into a vegan recipe. Mostly vegan, because I'm still using chocolate chips and there is like always the risk of contamination. I'm just gonna take my regular recipe and swap out the 1 egg for 1 mashed banana and the 1 cup of butter for 1 cup of peanut butter. I do have high hopes, maybe not high hopes, I have mediocre hopes that this will work out, because a lot of recipes you can just straight swap the egg for a banana. If there's an egg allergy or vegan reasons, a lot of baking recipes, particularly something like a cookie where the dough itself is thicker, it does work out. I am thinking because peanut butter has a softer texture than butter that I will have to increase the flour a little bit. Maybe I'll add like a 1/4 cup extra because I am pretty sure I will need extra. Brown sugar. Hopefully this isn't hard. No, we're good. I think I'll just use the rest of these chocolate chips, which is maybe a bit less than I normally do. I don't want to use too many in case it doesn't work out. This idea came into my head shortly after I finished filming last week's video, but because of the storage on my phone situation, I couldn't film it right away. I actually just uploaded the Play-Doh video. I hope you guys liked it. If you saw it, let me know, because it was kind of something different, but I had fun with it. The Play-Doh actually turned out really well, except the picture for the thumbnail. I had molded that all last night and taken a picture of it, but it looked brown, so I was like, okay, I'll just leave it out and then I'll take a picture in the morning. I didn't cover it or anything. It dried out overnight and then got all streaky, so I like grabbed water and a paintbrush and like tried to hydrate it a little bit. It's good enough, but it definitely doesn't look as shiny and Play-Doh-y and perfect as it did last night, so whatever. In editing my videos, I just cringe at how much I say so, but like all the, I just said it again, all these filler words, which is a critique I've had of myself since I started doing these videos. But I can't stop. I'm doing just like an extra 1/3 of a cup, a little bit more than a 1/4. But I've started noticing my speech pattern or habits, I suppose, in my real life, and it's
So frustrating.
because then I'm mid-sentence or trying to talk to someone and all my brain can think about is the fact that I'm saying like and so and but so many times. But it's fine.
It's fine.
I've been doing a bunch of yard work. Oh my gosh. The sellers of the house were a retired couple who had all the time in the world to garden, and I am a mother of last year a baby and now a toddler. I do not have a lot of time to garden. Thankfully, it's a bit easier this year because I'm not breastfeeding anymore. Nathan can handle Leon while I go out and do stuff. Nathan's pretty good about letting me go out and do the stuff that I need or want to do. Not that I super want to be weeding out all the dead stuff from the garden, but it's a job that needs to be done. Don't want to get hit by a bylaw or something for having a messy yard. And I'd say that would be unlikely if we didn't have a neighbor who seemed pretty annoyed by how late I did the spring cleaning last year. It was almost summer by the time I actually got out there and did it. Trying to do it a little bit earlier this year. I'm almost done just getting the majority of the dead stuff out. I have a little bit left of the top garden, and then I gotta do the side by the carport, and I gotta trim up the one bush that's by the window because not this winter, but last winter when we had a really bad storm, it killed like half the bush, and then I just never got around to actually taking off most of those dead branches. I took a few off here and there, but there was a lot of dead branches on it still, even last year. For that one, I want to wait a little bit until it starts budding, and then I can kind of see what's actually dead and what's not. Some of it is obviously going to be dead, so I probably will get out there in the next hopefully couple of days here, unless it snows, which it's supposed to snow. 350 for the oven.
I have 325. My oven runs cold, so I set it at 350. It ends up sitting around 330.
I do most of my cookies at 325. I find that just has better control, which is so weird because so many cookie recipes, especially in older cookbooks, recommend doing almost all cookies at like 375 to 400. And the only cookies I really do that high are anything that has like a really high sugar or liquid content. I like to do at a higher temperature because it helps kind of form a crust before it cools out. I also just love the combination of peanut butter and banana, and that's a classic combination. I definitely didn't invent it. Oh, but I am also adding cinnamon, and I love peanut butter and cinnamon and banana and cinnamon together. So peanut butter, banana, and cinnamon has to be a winner. If it's not, what am I doing with my life? Raising children. That's what I'm doing with my life. And running a household. Okay, there's some banana chunks, so I'm just gonna turn this up. Hopefully it doesn't wake Leon. Okay, so that's nice and fluffy. I'll finish measuring out these dry ingredients. Salt. I've heard so many stories about people who just do not add salt to their baking because, oh, I don't want to make it salty. You don't know what salt does. If you're adding enough salt that your baking is salty, that's too much salt. Unless that's what you're going for with like a flaky salt on top. I know that's a really popular thing for especially chocolate chunk cookies. That was a lot of vanilla. I'm so curious how these are gonna turn out. Oh my goodness. You guys are lucky. You get to see the whole thing within 15 minutes. I have to wait. This is crumbly. Let's scrape the sides. Ruh-roh. Did not need the extra flour. Now these are crumbly. I'm just gonna add a little bit more peanut butter. I don't wanna go in there with the dirty stash. Granted, there's almost, oh, I was like, I smell burning, but the oven's on. It's probably just crud in the oven. What was I saying? Oh, there's almost always jam in the peanut butter, so really it wouldn't be the end of the world if I... Now they're gonna be way more peanut buttery than banana-y. Dang it. Now these are more just peanut butter cookies. And I would just add some milk or something, but the whole point is to not use dairy or animal byproducts. And now I need peanut butter. Wow, I really thought this was gonna go the opposite way. Okay, I can squish it together. I don't wanna mix it too much. It's like crumbly.
Interesting.
Science. Apparently my mic was dead, but I think it was dead the whole time because I checked the audio and it was fine. No harm, no foul, I suppose. So funny. I just said, I suppose, and it sounded very Canadian, at least in my head. It made me think about how when I'm at work, my Canadian accent very much comes out. I honestly have no idea how these are gonna turn out. You know what? I'm actually kind of tempted to just like press it down. I think I am gonna do that. Press it down into a cake pan and make like cookie bars. The whole recipe at this point, I'm not gonna lie, is kind of a bust because it did not turn out how I anticipated. I'm wondering to maybe next time do 2 bananas. Oh, this is thick. Hopefully it's not tough. You know what? Maybe I can do some cookies. I'm a professional, okay? I'll have to see how these turn out, flavor-wise and all of that, and texture-wise. And then I'll decide what modifications would be best for the recipe. Oh my gosh, it's already 1:30.
But it just turned out so crumbly. And I added so much extra peanut butter, I'm like, oh no. It's okay, it was just an experiment. Yeah.
Okay, we're doing the cookie bar and then some just regular cookies. They're very crumbly. I guess it kind of makes sense now that I think about how dry peanut butter cookies normally are. I just use my peanut butter cookie recipe that's literally peanut butter, sugar, and eggs. And it's never dry because it's
Peanut butter, sugar, and eggs.
there's no flour in it. Oh, you know what? Maybe because peanut butter has a way higher protein content and gluten is 2 proteins. Glutenin and gliadin is what the strands of gluten are made of. Science. Yeah, so we'll see how these turn out. I'm gonna pop these in the oven. My hopes went from medium to extremely low, but don't you worry, don't you fret. This video is not over yet. I, Amy the Baker, will be back for a taste test of this crazy experiment right now. I'm back and I have a cookie bar thing. I'm wearing my mic now. Hopefully it's working. I'm glad that it was just dead the whole time so I didn't lose any audio. That's nice. It just means the audio quality that is on that video is kind of trash, but whatever. The real ones made it this far, despite the crappy audio with the white noise in the background. Thank you. Without further ado, let's take a bite. It's so crumbly. Need milk. The flavor is good, obviously. It's very peanut buttery with a hint of banana. Texture is not it. It's like eating a spoonful of dry peanut butter. Not my favorite thing in the world, but they're also not the worst. The flavor is good. And with a glass of milk or some coffee, they're pretty good. Would I recommend making this recipe? Probably not. I will continue to tweak this recipe. Hopefully it only takes 1 more try, but we'll see. I was really moderately confident that it would work the first time, and then it disastrously did not work out. So who knows? Failure is a part of the process. I should have just added a splash of milk or something once I realized how crumbly they were, but I was so dead set in my head about making them vegan, so I just kept adding peanut butter, which clearly didn't work. My partner mentioned that it might be the fat content and adding oil might be helpful, so I think I will try that next time too. But yeah, that's recipe development. And they definitely don't taste bad. Peanut butter, banana, cinnamon, very good together. The peanut butter is definitely very strong because I added so much extra, but obviously going forward it wouldn't be that strong because I wouldn't add that much. Because I don't want it to be a peanut butter cookie. Granted, anything you add peanut butter to is going to be peanut buttery because it's a very dominant flavor. Didn't want them quite this peanut buttery. When I've done recipe development in the past, it usually takes 3 or 4 tries, as long as you know kind of how to mod things, and then you just tweak it as you use it as well. Hopefully within 3 or 4 recipes I can tweak this to be super yummy delicious, but we'll see. This is my hair coming out of those braids I had them in yesterday. It was even more beautiful and curly, but I went to the baby group this morning and then there was this freak snowstorm and the wind was blowing everywhere and it was all wet outside and it all got in my hair and kind of flattened it out a little bit, but it still looks good. I think I'm gonna re-dye it later. It's kind of, especially at the end, it's getting a little bit dull. Anyways, that's going to conclude the rant and ramble session at the end of the video here. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked the video. Comment down below if there is any interest at all in a vegan cookie. I figured it would be a good addition to the cookie cookbook, and I want to work on maybe some gluten-free recipes as well. Subscribe if you haven't done that already, and I'll be seeing you guys again in the next one. Peace.